What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and some huge news coming out today that could be changing everything for the stimulus reconciliation bill. And I've got some video footage that you are not going to want to miss on this. Some major discussions taking place of the future of stimulus reconciliation. And yes, this is your stimulus and infrastructure bill update. Now take a look, you guys. All these articles coming out today like this. Economist groups tout that the Build Back Better is an inflation offset, saying that this is going to help us combat the 30-year high of inflation that we've been experiencing. But take a look, you guys, not anymore. Consumer prices rose at the fastest pace since 1982. They're saying inflation is getting worse. Reports coming out today. Take a look. Here's another one. Inflation is red hot, soaring to 6.8% in November, the highest in nearly 4 decades, almost hitting a 40-year high now. And take a look, you guys, U.S. inflation, highest since 1982. So we're hearing that Democrats are saying that the Build Back Better is going to help combat this, but not all of them feel that way. Take a look, you guys. Senator Joe Manchin won't pledge to support Biden's social spending bill, and he's vocalizing the fact that he thinks that this bill is going to worsen the causes of inflation, and it's going to be adding to it. And he's saying we need to pause, take a step back. The CBO scores have came out and said that this is not fully paid for, and we do not need to add to more inflation by passing more stimulus provisions. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys, but I've got articles and video footage discussing what's going to be happening with this bill and inflation that you are not going to want to miss. So you guys, we're going to dive right in and get you caught up on the latest. But first, just wanted to say also thank you so much for all the support on that second channel, Steve Ram Finance. If you're somebody that's interested in growing wealth, learning about personal finance, consider joining. That's going to be launching closer towards the end of the year. I will pin a comment down below. All you got to do is click the link, go subscribe, turn on notifications, and when we launch, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be helping out a lot of people, a ton, with growing wealth and personal finance. But you guys, let's dive right in and get you caught up on the latest economic news on stimulus and inflation. And let's start off first by smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton, just takes a second. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell, totally free, and I'll keep you up to date on everything going on. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. By far the best way to get a hold of me, you guys. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at these articles all coming out today and this video footage on stimulus and inflation. All right, you guys, so before we dive into the video footage, just very quickly, take a look at this article that came out 2 days ago that says Senator Joe Manchin won't pledge to support Biden's social spending bill. It says Democrats' roughly $2 trillion social spending plan, aka the Stimulus Reconciliation Build Back Better bill, may have just hit another roadblock weeks ahead of the party's self-imposed Christmas deadline. Now, listen to this, came out 2 days ago. Key moderate holdout Senator Joe Manchin refused to commit to voting in favor of President Joe Biden's cornerstone economic agenda, citing concerns of inflation. Just days before the Bureau of Labor Statistics is set to release its U.S. inflation data for November, that just came out today and said that we are now at a 40-year high. It has not been this high since 1982, 39 years ago. Now, you guys, this could be drastically impacting Senator Joe Manchin's decision to pause and hold off on voting on this bill until 2022. Now, we will see. I'll be sure to keep you up to date, but this is crucial information, as if he truly believes that the Build Back Better bill is going to be adding to inflation rather than helping it, well, then in that case, it's very likely that he's going to be reducing this bill, holding off, and things might slow down with this significantly. Now, if they can convince him otherwise and say the majority of it is paid for, and we don't have to worry about this, and it's going to help out and create new jobs and do all this great stuff to help battle inflation, then they might be able to get him on board even more so. But we will see. And you guys, I've got some video footage. Let's take a look at this argument that takes place as both sides are discussed, and you're going to be hearing, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
California Congressman Ro Khanna. He is a member of the Armed Services, Oversight, and Agricultural Committees, and he joins us right now. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Maria, good morning. Always a pleasure.
What do you make of this worry from Americans about inflation? You know, you would think that that is something of a wake-up call for you and your colleagues as you still try to get this spending plan through. Won't more spending stoke more inflation?
Well, of course it's a worry. Grocery prices are up. Gas prices are up. When I shop in my district, I see that. But what our bill will do is put more money in the pockets of working families and the middle class so that they have more money and can afford groceries, can afford gas, and it's going to lower the cost of prescription drugs, lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of elder care. So I think it will help.
How would it possibly help if it's more money chasing too few goods, Congressman? We know this. And not only that, but many people are expecting that they will also pay higher taxes. So you're saying that this bill is lowering the cost for people, and yet many of your colleagues, certainly on the right, say that you've already breached the promise of not having anybody making $400,000 pay higher taxes. They will pay higher taxes.
Marie, the tax increases are on people over $10 million, but you know the economics. I mean, the way inflation happens is if you have something that's unpaid for, because then the Fed increases the money supply. Here, this is fully paid for, so you're not going to have the Fed increasing bond purchases. In fact, I agree with Larry Summers. The real issue is the Fed with the quantitative easing, where they're still backing mortgages. I mean, they need to reverse that. I hope that the Fed will take the appropriate actions.
Well, you say that it's fully paid for, and Joe Biden says it costs nothing, but that's not what we're hearing from the CBO and not what we're hearing from the Committee for a Responsible Budget. They say that there are plenty of gimmicks in this plan. In fact, Maya McGinnis was on this program just a week ago, and she said the cost of this plan is actually $4.9 trillion because of the gimmicks that you and your colleagues have put in, saying, oh, the child credit goes away in 1 year. I mean, do you honestly think the child credit goes away in 1 year?
Well, it depends on the Republicans. Right now, the Republicans aren't for giving families $300 a month for people who are raising kids. If they were, then we could extend it further. But the CBO looked at this, and they basically concluded it's paid for. There's slight disagreement on how much revenue the tax compliance would raise. Larry Summers thinks it would raise far more than what CBO does, but it's basically paid for. And even economists like Summers, who have said that there is often inflation, have said BBB won't cause inflation because it's largely paid for. Most economists have said that. The issue is with the Fed.
No, most economists haven't said that it's paid for, Congressman. Let me ask you a question. Why put in a federal program if you're going to take it away in 1 year or 2 years?
I don't want to. I would love to have a 10-year plan.
You want it for the 10 years, right? That's why it's $4.9 trillion. Because that's exactly right.
But there's
Anybody who puts these programs in do not want them to go away in 1 year.
I do not, but we don't have the support for that. If we had the support for that, I would support it, and then the cost would be higher. But we don't have the support for that. So that's like saying I would like more spending for renewable energy. We don't have the votes for that. Doesn't mean that you fictitiously make up a number saying, well, if Kana got his renewable energy, that's what it would cost. What the Center of Budget is doing is saying, well, hypothetically, if there were the votes for these things, this is what it would cost. The votes aren't there. This is a 1 year extension. It should be cost based on what's actually in the bill.
It sounds like that's exactly what your colleagues did. They came up fictitiously and said that this plan costs $1.75 trillion by saying that these programs go away in a year or two, and they don't. Nobody wants them to go away in 1 year, and they won't. So in other words, the plan is actually costing $5.9 trillion, $4.9 trillion.
But the Republicans, here's the question, Maria. Why isn't there a single Republican who talks about family values, who says how important it is for parents to have the opportunity to raise their kids? Why isn't a single Republican saying, yeah, I think it's a good idea to give working class families $300 a month?
No, I think what the Republicans keep saying is they don't want a welfare state. They don't want government programs where families are so dependent on the government. They want them to work and make ends meet by their own efforts and not rely on money from the government with these federal programs that won't go away, that taxpayers will pay for. I mean, do you feel that this really is something that the American people want?
What I see is a lot of hardworking Americans, people who are driving trucks or working hard at restaurants, and they're having a tough time paying the bills and raising their kids. And what we're saying is, if you're a family who's raising kids in this country, that's the biggest job, and we ought to get $300 a month per kid. It's a policy that's pro-family, and I wish it had bipartisan support. And yes, I'm for 10 years if we can get it. The problem is we don't have the Republican support. And if Republicans were coming and support it, I'd say, yeah, it would cost more.
Right. Because we have $28 trillion in debt, and to just put out a program that gives people hundreds of dollars repeatedly is just creating a welfare state and adding to the debt. Why are we doing that? We're seeing an economy that is growing. You know, you've got inflation as well. So why put more spending out there? But look, Congressman, I don't want to keep going through this because obviously the Republicans say one thing and you're saying something else.
Man, so there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We have two different viewpoints of this, that this is not fully paid for. It is going to be adding to inflation, and there's concerns of how it's going to be impacting our economy, and that those provisions, like she mentioned, the child tax credit is only going to last for 1 year, but then Democrats are going to push to extend it out even further, and they're saying it's just the start of more to come, and that it's not actually going to be 1.7 trillion. It's actually going to be significantly multiple times more when this gets extended out, as people are going to start relying upon this financial assistance. Now, on the other hand, we have people saying, as you heard from Representative Ro Khanna, that this is 1.7 trillion, and it's actually less than that due to the CBO scores coming out saying that a good portion of it is actually paid for, and they're saying that we need to get this out, and we should go ahead and do so even more and send this out to help people out, and the tax cuts and all the jobs that are going to be created, that this is going to be helping combat inflation and help people get through at this time. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we've got two different opinions here, and I guess the only way to find out is either to have it come to pass, or maybe we will see if it gets blocked. Now, either way, I will be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel and let you know everything that's unfolding, but this is huge news coming out on inflation, and it is definitely going to be impacting the Build Back Better stimulus reconciliation bill, and we're going to be seeing what really is going to matter is the opinion of Senator Joe Manchin on this inflation data, and I will be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. That is the latest. I'll be sure to keep you up to date as more info rolls out, and if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you want to get a hold of me directly, it's easy to do so. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and if you want to learn about personal finance and growing wealth, consider joining that second channel, Steve Ram Finance. I'll pin a comment down below. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this reaches you well. I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.